Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mitch, Wynd. Ugly parent syndrome affects not only kids just trying to have fun on the sporting field, but other people attending in the sporting clubs themselves. Junior sport should be a place where kids are able to go out and enjoy their favourite sports with their friends and not have to worry about anything else. We now go to Jake Morris, who is with basketball referee and manager Marcus Walker, for more on the subject.
Alright, thanks Mitch. We're here with Marcus Walker. He's a referee down at Dandenong Basketball Stadium. Tell us about yourself, mate.
G'day, my name's Marcus. I've been refereeing for just over 5 years now. I've been supervising the referees, taking care of their rosters, making sure everyone rocks up pretty much for about a year and a half now. It gets difficult sometimes dealing with parents and kids. They're very passionate, which is fantastic, but sometimes they're a little bit too passionate.
Yeah.
But when they're watching their kids play, they watch them play and they don't expect anything to happen to them. Ended up getting into a massive argument to the point where one of them stood up, started swearing this, that and the other, saying, "Your kid is absolutely disgusting. I can't believe he'd do da-da-da-da." Game was stopped straight away. I went over to try and see if we could sort something out. One of the ladies said, "I'm not scoring with her. Her kid has just pushed my kid and is doing it on purpose." Now, it was very hard to speak with them both when they're both having a go at each other. So I said, "That's fine, no worries. Just go take a seat. We'll grab someone else." So as they were getting someone else, I went over and spoke to the lady that had said she was no longer going to score. And I said, "Look, you have to understand that sometimes contact happens and they're not doing it to hurt people. They're doing it to get the ball, and sometimes people get hurt." And they don't understand that. One, because they don't understand the rules, perhaps. They're only there because their kids want to play. They're not there because they want their kids to play. Some do, but it's more often that their kids want to play. They really enjoy it. So they bring them along. They don't know much about the sport. And as soon as they see their kid get hit, they erupt. They don't like that.
Yep.
Which is fair enough, I guess, but some of them don't understand their boundaries. And when I say some, it's the very small minority. Most times it's fine. They're there to watch their kids play and they see their kids having fun and they love it, which is great.
Have you noticed an increase, say, from 5 years ago to now of that type of behaviour, or is it pretty much?
No, I think it has gotten better, I think. As I said, because we've really tried to push that no tolerance for referees and tried to get them out of the habit of just letting things go.
Sure.
Which is how things begin to erupt.
Right. And you think that should, most, say, sporting organisations should do that? Like,
yeah,
they should
definitely
increase their tolerance?
It's so much better. There's too many reports going into the tribunal. And I bit back at her straight away saying, there's not too many reports going to the tribunal. These guys are getting reported for reasons they should be reporting, and it's not something we've done in the past. That's why there's been an increase in it. And I'm telling you, this sort of thing will help curb player behaviour.
Yeah, all right. So, Marcus, thank you. Back to you.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm joined here with Lucas Taylor, who's a umpire with the Yarra Valley Mountain District Football League and has experience in junior umpiring. So, first, I'd just like to ask you, have you encountered any experiences of ugly parent syndrome for your career as a junior umpire?
Definitely. It happens quite frequently doing any underage sport. Not so much with the senior levels, but definitely parents in junior football. It's very prominent.
Mm-hmm. What kind of impact do you think it has on young players who have to experience this?
I feel at times maybe the kids are a bit embarrassed. Probably with football, especially calling out on the sidelines after a decision or complaining about not protecting their kid. The kid can often get embarrassed. At other times, maybe it's damaging to them just because they're getting pushed a bit too much. But yeah, all in all, probably more embarrassment. I find a lot of junior kids, they don't really care as much about the decision. They just want to play footy.
Mm-hmm. Are umpires like yourself equipped to deal with these kinds of situations, or do you kind of just have to let it go? Or
I feel luckily for me, because I've had a bit of experience in the senior side of things, and it's not necessarily ugly parents as opposed to just ugly supporters. You get to witness it firsthand and you can adapt to it. But some junior umpires, so people who are the same age as the people playing, probably aren't as well equipped
What do you think is the best way for players, clubs or leagues to deal with this kind of issue?
Probably just education about maybe firstly the rules and secondly who it is actually umpiring. Often they don't really look at who the umpire is, they'll just abuse the umpire and they don't realise it's a 10-year-old kid out there doing his best or whatever. But another thing our league has used, or our umpire association, one round a couple of years ago, because it was becoming a very big issue in the juniors, they put it out to all of the clubs that they had to provide at least one umpire for a round, and then they went back to a few clubs that there was too much abuse coming from those clubs, and they did it again, and it actually, at times the president even would umpire under 10s or under 12s game, and it really put them in perspective, put them in our shoes, and we found that a lot of the abuse died down a bit because they were able to go back to their clubs, talk to the parents, and really just educate them on how difficult it really is out there.
Okay. Alright, thanks Lucas. That'll wrap us up. We'll go back to the studio now.
Thanks, Mitch. I'm here with Jordan Lipari, coach of the Frankton Blues under-16s basketball team. Jordan, have you experienced any ugly parent syndrome within your time as a coach?
Unfortunately, as a basketball coach, I have been numerous opportunities for parents to condone their behaviour, but unfortunately, they just acted out of line. It's not good enough. It's embarrassing for them as a person, as an adult, who should obviously be much more respectful to these young grassroots sports players, developing their game, young potential players for the future. It's embarrassing for the player itself. No young kid wants to turn around and see their parent absolutely howling some poor ref. Doesn't deserve it. It's just not good for the game. It's also embarrassing for the club and who else is watching. You get coaches and scouts looking around, and you've got one ugly parent who's howling stuff out. Doesn't look good. Doesn't attract people. So unfortunately, I have
Your players, their parents are getting into the umpires. How do you respond, and how do the players respond to that?
As a coach, realising that this can be a potential at the start of the year, I do speak to the parents as a group. It's good to get a head start, make them realise that they're not the referees, and them yelling out on the court isn't going to have a positive influence on either the referee's decision or the players' performance. They're going to get down on themselves, they're going to get frustrated, they're going to get distracted. So you try to speak with the parents, get them to just understand that the ref's decision can't be changed, and them wailing about it isn't going to do anything.
So do you know of any measures put in place to combat ugly parent syndrome?
I know at the club, at Frankston at least, that there's a couple of rules in place. There's supervisors patrolling the courts, each courts, to make sure the parents stay in line. Parents can be ejected by the referees, in fact, so that's a league-wide thing. If the referee decides that the parent is too unruly and out of control, they have all the right in the world to ask the parent to leave the stadium, which I totally think is fair because it's bad for the game and it looks horrid and no one wants to see it.
That's fair. So do you think this is effective, or can it get better from here?
It could most definitely get better, but at the same time, you could start off with things like, obviously, supervisors need more power to be able to eject people, ask them to leave, because there's most definitely been to games where I've been coaching or playing or on the sidelines at least, where parents definitely do get out of control and they start to say things that are not only out of line, but more than likely inappropriate and could cause a fight or an outbreak just because someone could take serious offence to some things that have been said. So there needs to be more people who have powers than just the referee.
Do you think another approach could be educating the parents about the game and then taking that approach instead of leaving it up to the supervisors?
Yeah, most definitely. Parents should understand that not only is their child out there to have fun and they can take a step back, but when it does get more competitive, that they aren't the referee or they aren't the player or the coach. They are there as parents. If they want to take up this role, then they should go and get more education on the game, understand what goes on a little more, and then take up an extra role. But as a supporter, someone sitting on the sideline, parents should understand that it's not good and it's not their role as a supporter. They should be there to encourage their team, encourage their player, their son, daughter, anything other than being an ugly parent.
Thanks to Marcus, Lucas and Jordan for their time. While ugly parent syndrome does exist across various sports and it does have an impact on the kids, it is good to see that steps are being taken and people are standing up to these ugly parents. That's our show for today. Thanks for watching. On next week's show, is too much Supercoach bad for you? Join us next time.